So traditional Chinese medicine is rooted in natural laws. It sees the human being as part of nature, as we are. Chinese medicine doesn't see that we need to fix the body. We don't need to stop symptoms. We need to support people going through them. Symptoms are messages from our body, and it's our body doing the work, and we support the body going through it. Birth is such an incredible opportunity to get connected with ourselves and to see how we are perceiving life and also death.
Hello and welcome to the Mama Culture. This is a place for you to be supported, inspired, and resourced on your unique journey through motherhood. I'm your host, Corey Zorns, a fellow mama, here to bring you information and wisdom on parenting, wellness, personal growth, and everything in between so you can thrive as a modern mama. So grab your favorite warm drink, settle in, and get ready for relatable, honest, and empowering conversations about the most important job in the world. This is the Mama Culture. Hello, Mariana. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm so excited to be here recording with you. I just saw you a little bit ago,
Monday.
So I've been trying to see you for the past couple of months in my luteal phase, like 1 week before my period, because I get so antsy and so anxious and like so tired. So I've been having sessions with you, acupuncture, cupping, moxa.
Yeah, Moxibustion. Yeah, that's right.
Fires and smoke. And it's been helping me so much. And today, I think my period is coming. I am feeling all the feels and so impatient with people. So I'm really trying to breathe through that. But I'm so excited to be here with you. And it feels like perfect timing. So you do Chinese medicine, you're a birthkeeper, a doula. But if you can tell everyone a little bit about yourself and then also just who you are as a mama.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, Corey.
You're welcome.
So I'm Mariana from Portugal. I'm the oldest of 5. I have 5 younger sisters. And so being a mother was definitely in my plans since my first sister born. And I went to the hospital to visit her, and it was just like, yeah, I love this. I cannot wait to bring her home, and I cannot wait to have my own kids one day.
How old were you?
I was 3.5.
So since 3.5, you knew you were destined to be a mama.
Exactly. So I knew it, that for sure I was going to have kids. And most likely at a young age, because my mom had me with 20 years old. And yeah, most in my family, women have kids young. So I knew that was probably my case as well. And it was. I had my first baby when I was 23 years old, 8 years ago. And that was the most special year in my life because it was my last year of studying traditional Chinese medicine. The year I had my first baby and the year that I did an internship in China, Nanjing. So I lived in China 6 months. Did internship there and did university there for 6 months.
You have 3 little ones now, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I have 3 kids.
Yeah.
1 boy, 2 girls. And motherhood is just a gift. And I think it's just such a special opportunity to just turn ourselves into our best version.
I love that.
And doesn't get any easier though. I love when they're babies. I just love that taking care and the breastfeeding journey and have the baby always with me.
Makes sense.
And it's intense, obviously, that I have moments that I'm like, okay, I need 2 seconds of space.
Yeah.
But is that those mixed feelings of like wanting space, but not wanting really. But yeah, now that my kids are older, so my oldest is 8 and then Camilla is 5 and Florence is 3. I think things just evolve into more complex layers.
Yeah.
That invite us to expand and mature with them.
Yeah.
And so lately motherhood for me, it's been dealing with my kids' boredness. They're like, Mom, I'm bored. I'm bored. They all bored.
And there's so much to do in Bali.
I know, but that's the thing. I find that being bored is important.
Yeah.
It is so important. And they get so frustrated with my answer, like, okay, and what are you going to do about it? Oh, can we go to the skate park? Or can I watch? Can I go to the beach? well, no, we're going to stay home today. And you're just going to find out something to do.
Get creative.
Get creative. Boredness is an invitation to create.
I love that. I remember I read that somewhere. It's good to be bored. Bored gives you the space, the openness to find creativity, to do something different, to use your imagination.
Yeah, to allow the stillness and the silence.
Yeah.
And then from there, you have ideas of stuff to do. And they get even more bored with my answer. Oh, find something to do. I don't know. They just turn around and like sometimes lay in the couch, and a couple of minutes later, they are just like building houses and tents with the couch pillows and towels and playing pirates or cooking outside with herbs and stuff, grass.
So I met you through another mama here in Bali, Kiera. And I think I saw her and she had cupping marks all over her back. And I'm like, who did that? And she connected me with you. And then I had my first session with you and I loved it so much. And I have needles all over me and I'm laying there and I'm like, I feel so blissed out right now. And I felt so good after. So I've been getting sessions with you since. And I'm like, I don't even know what acupuncture does. I don't know all the benefits. I don't know why needles go in, where they go. I've been asking you questions lately and learning about it a little bit. So I'm excited for you to share. But I know how I feel during this session and how I feel after. And it's such a reset. I feel so relaxed, so rested. And I'm a person with a lot of energy. I have so much go-go energy. So I love getting sessions with you because it completely helps me turn off my mind and my brain. What started you on the journey of Chinese medicine? And if you can also just explain to people, what is Chinese medicine? What does it involve? Because there's herbs, there's acupuncture, like there's so much that it involves. So what is Chinese medicine? And how did you get on that path?
Okay, how did I get on this path was actually through my father-in-law when I was 10 years old, because I know them since I'm a kid. My partner's sister is my best friend.
Oh,
since we are young. And so my father-in-law is a doctor, normal conventional doctor. But around 30 years ago, he shifted his practice to outside of the medical system, basically, and focused more on homeopathy. And he also does auricular acupuncture. And that was the first time I saw someone doing acupuncture in my life.
Wow.
And that was the moment that opened my mind to like, wait a minute, can you cure your headache or like your fever or stomach ache with a needle on your ear?
Wow.
And that was the first time I saw it, and it kept on my mind. So I really got curious. From that moment, I started questioning, like, oh, what are we learning in school as well? What we being taught? Because then in high school, I studied biology, physics, chemics. And in biology and all the health approach that you are taught in already early school, I started questioning, like, oh, but we can also use needles or
There's
plants.
other ways.
There's other ways. Not meant to be like right or wrong, but there's actually more than one way to do things, and they can all work.
Yep.
So that was my first approach with acupuncture. And then when I got admitted in university, I actually got admitted in economics, which is not my thing, was just because of my grades. And at the same time, my father's wife at that moment, she had my youngest sister, and she was suffering with a mastitis. And she supported her healing journey with acupuncture.
Wow.
And she was the one telling me, she knew I didn't want to go to economics. And she said, you know, there is this school of Chinese medicine in Lisbon. You should go and check it out. And I went and checked it out. And you need to do an exam to go into. And that's how I started. And it was a 5 years course in Lisbon. And I finished in China, in Nanjing in China, the last year. And yeah, that's how I got into Chinese.
Yeah. And then what does Chinese medicine entail? So there's herbs and plants and acupuncture, but what does it entail?
Yeah. Okay. Chinese medicine. So traditional Chinese medicine is rooted in natural laws. It sees the human being as part of nature, as we are. And so it compares all the nature events in our body as well. And it uses meridians, which are pathways in our bodies. And we have meridians in both sides of our body that correspond to our internal organs. And then we have the extraordinary meridians that only have one pathway. So for example, stomach meridian we have in both legs. But Dumai meridian we only have in the back of our spine. It's not bilateral. And then we use the meridians that are pathways of acupoints that correspond to specific organs to regulate our organs. And they have also energetic functions. So sometimes in Chinese medicine, we would say, okay, your kidneys are a bit depleted, but if you go to conventional medicine, your kidneys will be fine. So that's more related with the energetic pathways of the organ. Chinese medicine involves acupuncture, herbal medicine that involves Chinese herbs that are native from China, cupping, Qigong.
Which is what?
Qigong is medicine through movement, and you have sequences that work on the meridians as well.
Okay.
And then you have Tuina, which is the Chinese massage therapy, working on meridians and have specific techniques.
Okay. Yeah. Love
So
it.
Chinese medicine is that, and is based on the yin yang and the 5 elements theory.
What I love about Chinese medicine is it looks at the human as nature, which we are, and it looks at just us as like also an energetic standpoint. It's really seeing us as energy.
Then also, I forgot to mention that Chinese medicine takes in consideration our mind and emotions. So each organ is related with specific emotions. And that's very important because definitely emotions affect our well-being and the other way around.
Yeah.
And we need the physics to sustain the mental, but we need the mental to sustain the physics as well. And it's interchangeable, like yin and yang.
Yeah.
So you have all these aspects always connected. And also Chinese medicine doesn't see that we need to fix the body. We don't need to stop symptoms. We need to support people going through them. Symptoms are messages from our body, and it's our body doing the work, and we support the body going through it.
I think that's a really important thing to remember. We have these symptoms. Sometimes when you go to a doctor or you just take medicine, it just stops the symptoms. It stops you from feeling the symptoms, but you're not addressing going through it or the underlying cause or what's going on emotionally, mentally, physically.
Yeah.
So I love that you said traditional Chinese medicine helps you move through it, and that there are messages that we should hear and listen to and see what's going on, instead of just stopping the message, numbing out the message, blocking the message, and not listening to our bodies.
Exactly. And sometimes when the symptoms are too acute and too strong, it's helpful to have some relief.
Yeah.
But we are addressing the cause at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's important. That's a really special thing about the Chinese medicine. I feel like our bodies are incredibly simple and complex at the same time. In a sense that they will simply thrive, but that can involve some complex tissue adaptations that cause us the symptoms or to struggle. And that's where Chinese medicine can be helpful.
So how do you support mamas, whether they're pregnant, birthing a baby, new mamas? How do you support them with Chinese medicine, with acupuncture? How do you support them, and what does it do?
Okay. First of all, I like to acknowledge with the women that I work with that their body is doing everything necessary. And we don't need to do anything, because nature just happens. We are designed to thrive, to regenerate, to create. And we're not against our body. So it's important that people that I work with, women that I work with, we are on the same page on this, and women are ready to take responsibility for their own health and start the healing journey, if it's a healing journey or it's just because you like the support of Chinese medicine. Acupuncture, by activating some points in the meridians, will support, it communicates with your nervous system and with your brain and supports what the body is doing already.
So it's just supporting the body in what the body already knows and is capable of doing.
Yeah, it's support our innate healing capacity, healing from within. And it's really important that people don't need me, they want the Chinese medicine. People just want to support.
So for a pregnant woman, what kind of things would you support with using acupuncture?
Sometimes in first-time pregnancies, women feel a lot of insecurity and anxiety. So acupuncture and Chinese medicine can really help with it. The first couple months nauseous is something that acupuncture is really effective on it. But again, the point is actually understand as well why you're having your nauseous, where it comes from. Do you need to adjust something in your diet? There are so many nuances on it. So we try to address, like, understand each case should be treated individually.
Yeah, I know. I love whenever you come over, you always ask me like all the things. How are you feeling?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I've been really busy. Well, why have you been busy? Like you come in and you ask so many questions about my life, about my emotions. And like you're really trying to get as much information as you can, which I love. And then that is how you work on me with acupuncture and with your protocol. It's okay, what's really there? How are you feeling about this? And what are people's energetic states that they're in?
Yeah, and I don't do the same thing all the time because people are always in different stages.
Yep.
And of course, if we seeing each other like before your period comes, yeah, the main message will be the same. But if you are like a bit more tired or feeling a bit more stressed about work or what's going in your mind, I will adjust the treatment. It's also very important to acknowledge how our mind influences our body and the messages that sends to our body. To support other women through that, I use a lot German New Medicine developed by Dr. Harmer.
So what is German New Medicine?
Well, Dr. Harmer studies the minds, the mind and how the mind actually affects our body and specific parts of our brain that are responsible for specific parts of our body, specific organs and tissues. And that creates a biological response.
So how do you support people with it? Is it all about finding what's going on in their mind?
It's basically helping people creating awareness, self-awareness of what they tell to themselves.
Got it.
And how their body usually responds to it.
The internal dialogues and then what it correlates to within the body.
That's something that I find really helpful to support Chinese medicine. It's actually what I was thinking was missing a little bit. Although Chinese medicine already relates emotions with specific organs and that our emotional state and mental state is very important, is part of our health, there was missing this part of direct relation. Oh, when you suffer this kind of conflicts, like a loss conflict, your body will react this way. And that's what German New Medicine explains. It's based on the premises that our body runs in this really old biological program and always responds in 5 biological laws.
I love that you're diving into all of these different ways of healing ourselves, and looking at the mind is massive. Joe Dispenza talks about literally being able to heal our bodies through the mind. And I've had people...
Exactly.
I know a woman who couldn't leave bed and the doctors told her she'd never walk again. And she's, yes, I will. And like literally changed her mindset and was walking and fine and just living her life again. So it's crazy the power of the mind. And I so strongly believe it.
Yeah, and that story is actually such a good example of someone that took the responsibility for her health.
That's such a good one. I think that's a good message for all people and for mamas. It's, can you take responsibility for your health and then look at what is your mind saying? What are your emotions saying? What do you need to switch? And then it's them having the tools and the support that helps them, because getting awareness is one part, but then learning tools. And for me, I've had people supporting me. I've used tapping. I've used breath work and meditation, but it's both. It's first having the awareness, taking responsibility of what's going on within your own body, and then finding the tools, the support, the love, the care, the compassion to support yourself through it.
Absolutely. So I would say my major mission when I work with women is that. And then I use Chinese medicine, but is claiming our health back to ourselves.
I love that.
Motivate people to do that. Don't be afraid to own it. And our conventional medical system, it's great for emergencies. It's great. My experience with it shows me that it's not the best in healthcare, because they in disease, they like to treat the sickness, but not the health. They don't cultivate health.
Sometimes it can feel really triggering to hear, well, take your power back with your health and what's going on in your body. It can be really triggering because some people are going through some major health stuff. But at the same time, it can be really empowering because it's like, oh, it's in your hands. There's something that you can start to do about it. There's tools, there's support, there's things you can start to change, and there's ways you can navigate it without relying only on the medical system or feeling like the power is completely out of your hands and you're completely surrendered to it and have no control. And it's empowering to be like, okay, there's something I can control and where can I get support? And I believe in both. I am always first to go natural and to get acupuncture, to use herbs, to birth at home. And then I also am so thankful for emergencies in the medical system and doctors and surgeons. It's so great to have both. But you're right. For my own health and wellness, I'm like, okay, I'm in control. What can I do? what herbs can I take? What plants can I use to support my wellness? And then love that there's backup if I need it.
Exactly. It's just the tools are there and then you can choose it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's no, that thing of dualism of our society, right or wrong, black and white. That's not reality. The nuances are the important part.
Yeah.
And I also feel like when it's triggering, when we are experiencing like strong health crisis, there's such is in the struggle and overcoming the struggle that we find our strength. And it's such an invitation to question ourselves, what is here for us to learn?
Yeah.
In my own health journey, I hate like going through the symptoms.
It's the worst.
And I really don't like them. And I'm the first one like, oh, why? And then it's like, no, accept it.
What is there?
And now what is here for you?
Yeah.
There is something here for you. And yes, use what you think you need to use. All the help that you think it's relevant for you is exactly what you need.
I love that. There's like little ways and big ways I can look at that. Today, I'm like, my period's coming today. I'm so impatient. I feel so like worked out before this. And then I'm like getting my smoothie at the gym and the guy is just taking forever. And he makes me the same smoothie every single day for like the last 2 weeks. And he's like, today asked me like, do you have milk in it? And I'm like, I never drink milk. You make my smoothie every day for the last 2 weeks. And I'm finding myself
You don't know that
so
already.
angry at people. And then instead of blaming the whole outside world, it's like, today, maybe I shouldn't be running around at the gym. I mean, I love going to the gym, but I'm like, maybe it's just a day of rest and a day of slowing down. So also looking at our own messages when the frustration and anger is coming up, it's like, because today's a great day to be laying in bed and reading a book.
And maybe do my own smoothie. So I
It's my own warm soup at home. So I love that. Just in general with life, I love when we let go of the victim mentality and really take control and take charge and take ownership, because it's so empowering. That's where our freedom truly lies. And it's not easy in the struggle moments. It's not easy when you're sick. It's not easy when you're suffering. It's not easy when you get diagnosed. It's not freaking easy. But we have freedom in it and we have power in it. And on the other side, you find your greatest strengths. And another example, so after I gave birth, I had a beautiful at-home birth into the water with Ibu Robin. And afterwards, I was bleeding and bleeding, which I know is normal postpartum. I was like bleeding and bleeding for a month. And I'm like, something doesn't feel right. Our intuition is so strong. I'm like, something's not right here. So I went back into the office and they did a little ultrasound. And they're like, there's still some placenta tissue left in your uterus. And you have to go to the hospital. Thank goodness for the hospitals and the doctors, and remove it. I actually, now knowing what I know, I would have probably hit it with some Chinese herbs and to see if I could have removed it. And maybe if I knew sooner, I would have tried that. Who knows? But what I did was I went and got a D&C and they cleared out my uterus and it was all great. But one thing she said was like, she looked at the energetics and she's like, maybe you were really scared of releasing the baby and really held on to a piece of your placenta. And that, I don't know if that was the truth, but I was like, it was so good to look at the reasons why, look at the emotions behind it. And look that every physical thing is tied to an emotion. So I was like, that's a great question. Like, let me sit and think on that. And I don't know the final answer, but I love that the physical things are completely tied to emotional states, mindset, ways that the brain is working, ways that the brain is feeling. So you are also a doula, a birth keeper. You've attended 3 births lately. And so you're helping women on their journey through birth and supporting them emotionally, physically, Chinese medicine, German new medicine, all of it. I can't wait to have another baby and have you support me. I'm going to wait a while. I'm not ready yet. But I'd love to hear, what is it like as you support women through this journey of pregnancy and into birth? What do you support them with? What does it look like?
Okay, during my practice of Chinese medicine, for the past 4 years, I specialized more in women because most of my patients were women already, and that's what I loved.
Yeah.
That's what I loved. And I realized that a lot of pregnant women kept going to me, not because the acupuncture, but because they had questions about my pregnancies and my experiences. And then I felt, oh, wow, I actually love to speak about pregnancy and birth and share my stories with them. And so I want to support them this way as well. And I went to do a doula course. And that's how it started. And after my doula course, I did the Radical Birthkeeper School. that you can find at freebirthsociety.com. And that was my favorite course ever.
That sounds amazing.
That's very empowering. They work a lot on working in ourselves. That's their main goal, that how we can work in ourselves so we can best serve others.
What is the difference between a birthkeeper and a doula? Are you still attending births with mamas, or are you just prepping them ahead of time? What is your role as a birthkeeper?
Okay, so a doula is someone that supports women physically and emotionally in birth, but is together with a midwife or at a hospital. It depends. A birthkeeper doesn't have any medical
background,
any medical background, but is more to support the mother emotionally. It's more related with what authentic midwifery was before, in supporting the mother emotionally in her birth and pregnancy and postpartum. The main difference, I would say, the doula, when it works together with the midwife is the authority in the birth.
Yeah.
While the birthkeeper sees the mother as the authority in birth.
Do mamas who want a free birth, and a free birth means that there's no midwife, no doctor, correct?
Free birth is when a woman chooses to birth her baby by herself, but that doesn't mean she doesn't have someone there to support her.
Okay, so she might have a midwife, she might have someone there, but she wants to birth her own baby.
Yes, and some people say if you have a midwife around, it's not free birth.
Okay.
And some people, they still had a midwife on their background. So I think everyone has their concept of free birth, because I've heard moms saying like, oh, I free birthed my baby, but I had the midwives there. And then free birth is just a mom having her baby by herself.
So I did my first birth at home with my midwife, and she was so amazing. And I feel really empowered on the next one. I still want a midwife there, but I would love everyone to be really hands-off me. And like, I would love to really, unless I need to call for support, I'd really love to trust my body, trust the process, and be there on my own birthing the baby. So that's my plan for the next one.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It feels so empowering. And it feels good for the second one. Like the first time, I'm like, okay, I want someone there. I'm a little nervous. I don't know. I trust my body, but I'm also learning how this works. And now with the second one, I'm like, wow, I really do trust my body. I understand the birth process more. And I'd love to really be there on my own with the birth and have support there in the background if I need it, maybe in the other room, but really go through the journey on my own and with my partner.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would say a birthkeeper is someone that is familiar with birth and is there responsible to the mother, but not for the mother in birth. And also, one of the big works that I do with women is understanding that birth works because birth is just a physiological process like any other one in our body, like breathing, like a bowel movement, like digesting. We don't need information to do these things. They just happen.
Yeah.
And birth, it has variations of the normal that don't need to be pathologized. And emergencies happens, of course, rare. And it's really when hospitals can shine.
Yeah.
But it's understanding how the physiological process happens. And most women that want to free birth, for example, they want to gather information to prepare themselves, not because they need to, because most of them already realize that, okay, I don't need, but I want to, and they want to understand how it's going to happen. And so it's like walking together with women in that journey. Give that support as well.
Yeah, before I gave birth, I really knew women are meant to birth. We've been doing this for all of time. Out on the floor of the jungle, the floor of the forest, women have been birthing their own babies for all of time. So I know I can do this. But I had to study how birth, like, it's so funny we don't grow up learning how birth works. Like, I didn't know you had to birth the placenta. Like, how do we not know that? We just really don't grow up understanding and learning about birth. So I studied the birth process and how it works so my mind could trust my body. Because you're right, it's just another system that our bodies already know how to do. We don't have to interfere with it. And there is, of course, emergencies sometimes. But I really needed my mind to catch up with the fact that my body already knows what to do. So I had to have my mind understand, okay, this is how birth works. This is what the baby does. This is what your body does. And it was literally just to like calm my mind with how my body already functions.
Yeah, absolutely. Following our instinct is the most important.
Yeah.
And if you want to know, it's because you need to know.
Yeah.
I remember my first child, I was like, no, babies come out. And I was like, okay. the second child, I was like, okay, why you didn't learn more things about birth before you decided to have a home birth? Everything was well. Everything went perfectly. But I was like, oh, wow, you really trusted just without...
Did you do all three at home?
Yes, I did.
And you didn't really learn about the birth process. You're just like, okay, let's just go for it.
The first one, no. The first one, okay, I kind of knew.
Yeah.
I generally speaking knew because I have a lot of younger sisters. So I've seen pregnancy and birth happen.
Yeah.
And because my background in Chinese medicine, you learn a little bit as well, but very superficially. But that for me was enough. Before my first baby, I never went into like complications. Like I was just not in my mind.
Yeah.
It's like, but they came out.
Yeah.
But then when I started, it's funny because the more you learn, you're like, okay, this could have happened.
Yeah. Sometimes less knowledge is better.
Exactly. And I was like, oh, yeah, right. My mind was not there, so it didn't. It's not just that, obviously. There's a lot of other factors, obviously.
What do you wish more mamas knew, whether they're on their pregnancy journey or they're new mamas? What do you wish that more of them knew that you think would help their health, their well-being?
Well, that they can really trust their bodies to connect with themselves and follow their instinct.
Yeah.
They are the perfect mother for their child. Their child loves them very deeply. Be soft with yourself. And I feel like sometimes in pregnancy, you don't need to get checked all the time by other people to know that you are okay.
Yeah.
Do a checkup on yourself, not by someone else. I see people, sometimes women, so worried about, even before they get pregnant, oh, but what about if I don't do all the scans and what is this? No, relax. There's no problem. There's no problem. There's no right or wrong. There's not only one way of doing things right.
Yeah.
And you can really trust the process. And scans, even, they don't change outcomes. It's really your choice. You can choose. Nowadays, home birth is something that everyone knows about it. But for example, 8 years ago in Portugal, I couldn't find a midwife. And the ones I found, they were not Portuguese. And I had to go very far away. And so I didn't know I could choose as well. And I think it's important women know that they can choose and they can trust themselves.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Having trust for yourself as a mama, having trust for yourself in birth, having trust for yourself in the way you love your babies, you raise your babies. There's always learning and growing and evolving, but just really having trust for yourself and softness for yourself and knowing how much our little ones love us so deeply. Someone told me you cannot understand a mother's love until you're a mother. And that really hit me. Like, I could never have understood how much my mother loved me and cared for me until I became a mom. And I felt this explosion in my heart. I'm like, it's indescribable how much I love my little human. He sleeps at night and I just stare at him. I'm like obsessed. My heart just feels an overwhelming sense of love that I've never been able to feel in my entire life. Nothing is like it. And then it makes you realize, oh my God, this is how much my mom loves me. This is how much my grandmother loves my mom. This love that a mom has is just unreal.
And that's also how our great-grandparents love us. Because we are the kids of their kids and their kids. And it's so, wow. Yeah, love. Love is everything in life.
One time you were over doing acupuncture and cupping on me. We talked about women getting stitched up after birth.
Yeah.
And I loved this conversation because I think I didn't know there was a choice. So after my birth, I had a tear and I got stitched up. And my stitches, I feel like they caused a lot of complications for me. Like the stitches were really tight and I felt like pulled ligaments and scar tissue and just so much that I had to heal for a year. I'm still feeling the effects in my body. And not saying that I wouldn't have gotten stitched up. I don't know what I would have done at the time, but I love now going into the next birth that there is an option for me, that people sometimes choose not to get stitched up and to let their bodies heal differently. And it might be extreme, like you were saying, like laying in bed and not moving for weeks. And there might be, things that support you. But I just love that with every part of the birth process, with every part of being a mama, we have choices and we have our intuition and there's ways that our body is so miraculous.
No, absolutely. So physiological tearing And by this, when we tear in physiological birth without being managed, without someone cutting us, when we naturally tear giving birth, is a natural event. It can happen. And our bodies were designed for it. And it's not randomly that the tissues in that area are high in collagen and soft tissues, so they can stretch and then heal back. And you're right, stitches, they can bring complications in the future, and they can slow down the healing. Well, you're puncturing your tissues with a needle and a thread in order to bring the tissues together to support healing. But by doing that, you're damaging the tissues even more and can bring complications in the future, like scar tissue. And can cause pain and a lot of discomfort. While our bodies can heal naturally, of course, you have to know what to do as well. You need to lay down in bed at least 3 weeks with your legs closed. Let all the fluids that your body is producing, they are meant to be produced and help healing. I heard women saying like, you can put seaweed and stuff. Yes, you can. If it resonates with you, absolutely. But you can also let like your own tissues and fluids heal, because that's why they're being produced.
Wow.
And you need to lay in bed for 3 weeks at least with your legs closed. And I really mean it. You just leave your bed to go to the bathroom. Nutrition also helps. And you feel it. If you feel like you can move, yes, of course, move, but be gentle. But I would say with my 3 births, I have experience of not tearing, of tearing just a little bit, and of tearing a lot, of getting stitches, of not getting stitches. And my personal experience is, even though someone like you and me would struggle 3 weeks in bed, if that would be a way of healing that we don't have scar tissue later on, and then the best way of our body heals, I would like, of course.
If I could go back and decide if I would not get stitches and that was a safe decision, I think I would have done it and laid in bed for the 3 weeks, because it's been over a year of healing, which has been such a long journey. And I just have to trust now that this was my path, this was my choice, this was my learning, and it was the thing for me. But I think what I really want mamas to know, and what I love knowing, is that there is no right and wrong. There is choice. There is so much intuition, and knowing that there's so many options in the birth process, in the mama process, in the pregnancy process, within our bodies. But remembering that we have sometimes more choice than we realize, because we've been living in a society and in a system where so many choices have been taken away. Supposedly taken, not really taken away, but like by people that we trust and have looked up to, and we've been told to look up to. We've surrendered our choices to them, but we don't have to. It's like we can choose that we take back our choices, our decisions, our bodies, and there's so much potential in that and so much power in that.
Getting informed and then use the information with your intuition to do whatever suits you best.
Yes. That's what I think the balance is. I think it's your intuition, getting information. Like, of course, our bodies have so much information. That's where like our intuition comes in, but also getting support, getting resources, getting information, and then making intuitive, informed choices. There's a whole balance of this.
Yeah. And and I'm back to the Birthkeeper conversation now. This thing just popped up in my head. I would say a Birthkeeper is really suited when woman wants to free birth but doesn't want to be alone. And wants support and wants the sister next to her. That's how I want to support women.
Wow. I mean, I have time before my next baby, but I'm getting excited.
Me too.
It's so funny. I feel like I've always laughed. Like, we have so much amnesia after birth. I'm like, I can't wait to birth another baby. And I have complete amnesia about my wild 24-hour journey that I was like, and just excited to do it again. I've never felt so much power in my life. And to see how powerful women are and women's bodies are is just
birth is such an incredible opportunity to get connected with ourselves and to see how we are perceiving life and also death. It's like a shower of love.
This journey is just, there's so many words for it, and there's just no words to truly describe what it's like. Okay, so lastly, if you could write on a billboard something for all mamas to see, what would it be?
Trust your intuition. You are the best mama for your child, and your child deeply loves you. That's what I would write.
A really beautiful reminder for mamas. Is there anything else you want to leave mamas with? Anything else you want to share about yourself? Where to find you?
Thank you so much for this opportunity, first of all. My Instagram is the Brahmins.
I'll link it too.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for all of the love, the support you bring to mamas. Thank you for all the work you've done with me, on me. I love your energy. I love being around you. You feel so soft and so nurturing.
You so much. Thank you for trusting me.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Bye. All right, Mama, thank you for tuning in. I am sending you so much support and love on your journey through motherhood. Remember, you are not alone in this beautiful, wild, and sometimes challenging journey of motherhood. This is your village. Please subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share this with anyone else that you think would benefit. Take care, Mama, and I will see you next week. Thank you for being part of the Mama Culture.